bride of the morning. You're in control. The graver the fight, the greater your glory. No power, no name could ever overthrow the cross, ever overthrow the cross. Your blood, your grace is my hope, and hope is lost. You're my hope, and hope is lost. You hold it all. The dark of the night, the bright of the morning. You're in control. The graver the fight, the greater your glory. Ooh, ooh. What can stand against our God? From beginning to the end, you won't be shaken. Jesus, you're my strength and song. My life is in your hands, you won't be shaken. What can stand against our God? From beginning to the end, you won't be shaken. Jesus, you're my strength and song. My life is in your hands, you won't be shaken. You hold it all. The dark of the night, the bright of the morning. You're in control. The graver the fight, the greater your glory. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Cody, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Man, I love this song, Hold It All. It feels like a little bit of a personal prayer with this corporate declaration in the bridge. And it just feels really special. I know this one's already out.
Yep.
Out there for people to go ahead and go listen to. But man, what's the heart behind it, and kind of where did it birth from?
You know, a lot of these songs, and even the title of my album, The Darker the Night, The Brighter the Morning, it comes from this song. And, you know, a lot of these songs, I was really inspired by the story of Paul and Silas in Acts 16. When, you know, Paul and Silas are out and they're preaching and they're laying hands on the sick and people are getting healed. And so they're doing the work of ministry, you know, and they get thrown in prison. They kind of make some people mad. And they get thrown in prison and they get beat up. And it says almost beat to death. So they're bruised and they're bleeding and they're chained to the, you know, innermost part of the prison and chained to the wall. And the most amazing thing about that story is that here they are in that situation when they could have easily chosen to say, God, I'm mad at you, I'm bitter, I don't know why you've put me in this place when I was doing what you told me to do. But their response is a song of praise and thanksgiving instead. And I just loved that idea of, you know, sometimes things don't necessarily go the way that you want them to go, and sometimes things look impossible. But God always loves working in impossible situations, and God is always one to come into a dark situation and bring hope and bring light. And the morning always comes, you know? And so I just loved thinking about what kind of song would Paul and Silas be singing in that moment, you know, trying to write some of those songs, just what kind of song that would be. And this was one of the songs on the record that I felt like, a song of praise and thanksgiving in the midst of a hopeless situation, declaring the hope of Jesus, and so that's what this song is about. And I hope that it's a hopeful declaration for people, regardless of what kind of situation that they're in, that they can sit here and they can sit there and sing this song and declare this over themselves, and look forward to what God is doing and what God is going to do.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that bridge, the "Who Can Stand Against Our God." Just the way it lifts there, it's really great. Yeah. Well, cool, man. Well, show us how you're playing it.
So I'm tuned down a half step because the song is an F sharp on the record, but F sharp is a terrible key to try to play in.
Yeah. Or read a chart in.
Yeah. So I'm playing it in G, so I tuned a half step down. So in G, it starts on the C here, and I'm doing the bass note on the A and the third on the B. So it starts with the C, with the D, with the E minor, the G over B, the D again, and the C. And then you can kind of pick on this open G string, so it kind of creates this. That's kind of the intro and the verse. And then the chorus is similar. It starts on the same 3 chords, and then it goes to the A minor, and then back to the E minor, D. And then the bridge is similar as well, but it changes a little bit. It goes to the C, so same 3 chords again. This time it goes to the D, then the E minor, G over B. So it's 3 different progressions. They're all very similar, just a couple little changes in each one. But yeah, it's all kind of in that. And if you wanted to kind of I like doing kind of an open, where the bottom strings are open a little bit, just kind of gives it some grit, So I do that a lot on these chords. So you could do a same 2-finger thing where you play the C and the E there, D and the F sharp, E and the G, and just kind of leave the others open. If you want to drive it a little bit more.
Yeah. Lots of little tips and tricks how to play in G, but not...
Yeah, but not like the normal standard
the locked
chords.
normal way that we all do it. That's awesome, dude. Well, thanks for joining us. Thanks for sharing it.
Yep.
You hold it all, the dark of the night, the bright of the morn. Anything can happen, anything can happen, anything can happen in this place. More than we imagine, more than we can fathom. Anything can happen in this place. Anything can happen. Anything can happen, anything can happen in this place. More than we imagine, more than we can fathom. Anything can happen in this place. As faith is rising, rising up inside. Faith is rising, bringing us to life. And faith is rising, rising up inside. Faith is rising, bringing us to life. Anything can happen, anything can happen, anything can happen. More than we imagine, more than we can fathom. Anything can happen in this place. As faith is rising, rising up inside. Faith is rising, bringing us to life. Healing's healing's flowing from Emmanuel's face. Anything can happen, anything can happen, anything can happen in this place. Oh, more than we imagine, more than we can fathom, anything can happen in this place. So come and break addiction, lead us into freedom. Anything can happen in this place. Give us dreams and visions, let us see kingdom. Anything can happen in this place. As faith is rising, rising up inside. Faith is rising, bringing us to life. Healing's flowing, falling down like rain. Healing's flowing from Emmanuel's face.
Chris and Jeffrey, good to see you guys.
Good to see you.
Thanks for sitting down with us and sharing these new Jesus Culture songs. It's always exciting to hear what you guys are singing in church and creating. The first time I heard this song, Anything Can Happen, I loved it because, I mean, it's really kind of an A-B song. There's like two sections. But it felt so useful to me just from a church standpoint, because it's like, oh, wow, like this would be great to open a service with, or it'd be great kind of like after a message going into like a prayer time or something like that. And it excited me just because I feel like churches are going to figure out like all these cool ways to kind of use this song. But talk about this song and just the inspiration behind it and how you guys kind of got down this road with it.
Yeah, well, the title, Anything Can Happen, actually was the theme of our church. I think the year we opened our church was like, really, we wanted people to come to really have that expectation that when we get together, God shows up and really anything can happen, like the song says. And so for us, that sort of phrase, lyric, really stood out to us when we started writing for this project. And so it was really cool to see how the lyrics came together. And like you said, it is kind of A-B section. And we actually dumbed down the arrangement because it felt like, oh, we just want the church to be able to hear this and it to be really accessible, whereas someone can just play it on acoustic, in a small group, and in a big service, whatever, just it to be approachable in that sense. So, but yeah, the song is just really about when we get together, when we come together to worship, God shows up, and really it creates an atmosphere where God can bring healing, bring deliverance, set people free. So
yeah, I love it when it gets to of course, the lyric shift, where the healing falling down like rain, and it starts to build into that, just like really cool moment, and then back into that chorus again. It just feels really good.
Yeah, we're really excited for it and see what God does through it.
Yeah, Jeffrey, walk us through what you're playing. It's a pretty simple chord structure of the song.
Yeah, like you said, it's an A-B song, so there's two chord progressions and they kind of fit in different sections of the song. But the A section would be 6, 5, 1/3, 4. And then B section, or the chorus, would be 1, 5, 1/3, 4. That's the song.
Wow, so just one part starts on the 6, one on the 1.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Easy.
Every church can sing this song. Every small group.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, guys, thanks for sharing the song with us. And it's going to be exciting to see churches figure out how they're going to use this and bring it into their services.
Yeah, thanks for having us. We're excited.
Yeah.
Faith is rising, rising up inside. God of creation, there at the start, before the beginning of time. With no point of reference, you spoke to the dark and fleshed out the wonder of life. And as you speak, 100 billion galaxies are born. In the vapor of your breath, the planets form. If the stars were made to worship, so will I can see your heart in everything you made. Every burning star, a signal fire of grace. If creation sings your praises, so will I. God of your promise, you don't speak in vain, no syllable empty or void. For once you have spoken, all nature and sights follow the sound of your voice. And as you speak, 100 billion creatures catch your breath, evolving in pursuit of what you said. And if it all reveals your nature so alive, I can see your heart in everything you say. Every painted sky, the canvas of your grace. And if creation still obeys you, so will I. So will I. Stars were made to worship, so will I. If the mountains bow in reverence, so will I. And if the oceans roar your greatness, so will I. For if everything exists to lift you high, so will I. And if the wind goes where you send it, so will I. If the rocks cry out in silence, so will I. And if the sum of all our praises still falls shine, then we'll sing again 100 billion times. Salvation, you chased down my heart through all of my failure and pride. On a hill you created, the light of the world, abandoned in darkness to die. And as you speak, 100 billion failures disappear. where you lost your life so I could find it here. If you left the grave behind you so alive, I can see your heart in everything you've done. Every part designed in a work of art called love. You gladly chose surrender, so will I can see your heart 8 billion different ways. Every precious one, a child you died to save. If you gave your life to love them, so will I. Like you would again 100 billion times. But what measure could amount to your desire? You're the one who never leaves the one behind.
Ben and Joel, good to see you guys.
Good to see you, man.
It's awesome to be here with both of you, and just because you kind of lead in different places. Joel's in New York, you're in Sydney, the city campus, and but you guys have come together, and this song "So Will I" is just amazing. I mean, we were just sitting around the table, kind of listening through the new music, you know, at Worship Together Capitol, and the song came on, and I think it got done, and we were all just kind of like just wiping eyes and everything, and it's really one of those songs that. It's just the full picture of the gospel, you know, kind of from creation to the end, and it's such a unique song too, in that the way you guys crafted the lyric, it's almost like a psalm in that it takes on, you know, there's a rhythm to it in the lyric, but also it's uncovering a little bit of who God is along the way. But maybe Ben, start with you and talk about, like, you know, just the starting of the song, how you guys ended up working on it together. And
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, it's like, to us, it's a really special song. It was a lot of fun to write. It initially started like a year ago, and at that point it was a much shorter song. And then when Joel heard it, he came back with like 1,000 lyrics and made it infinitely better, as he does. And yeah, so much of it I think just came out of great conversation. And it kind of feels to me like every line was a bit of a revelation we had, or something that we were really stoked on when it came to God. I remember one night in the studio we were talking about that line, "As you speak," and you know, God spoke however many years ago, and the universe is still expanding, trying to catch up with what he said, or God spoke, and creation is still being sustained in that same breath. Or on the cross, Jesus said, "It is finished," and 100 billion failures disappear, and the kingdom is gradually being restored around the earth. And so I just think, I remember that being such a great conversation.
We probably talked more than we did wrote lyrics.
Yeah,
just talking about God.
Awesome.
Yeah.
well, Joel, talk a little bit about just the development of the song, like idea-wise, because I know a lot of the way you work on songs. I mean, it seems like in today's music culture, a lot of songs kind of stop within like a 10-hour period. It's like we started, wrote it, we're done, we're moving on. And but I know you go back often, and you're just always sanding and always really going back over the lyric, and you can really tell that in this song. But talk about just how this kind of unfolded into really kind of these chapters of a song.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's a story, you know, and I think once we started kind of just telling the story, if you God with it, and it started with light, because that was where it was, and that's how God kind of started the whole thing. It's just like every single time we turned a page, it just felt like then there was another page to turn.
Yeah.
And you know, I know that sometimes it can be unhelpful to, like, you can put too much into a song lyrically, and I think we probably did at some points. Like we took a lot more lyrics out than we ended up.
Yeah.
You had to tone a bunch back. Yeah. But it was just, I mean, it was actually, like Ben said, it was just one of those really fun processes where it was like a lot of work, but it was like I didn't want to do anything else, just wanted to keep seeing where we could land. And I know for me, often when you start with a song, you might have a lyric that's great, that's right there when you write the song. And sometimes I just need to I want to go through, like go around the whole world, so to speak, to come back and know, I know we were in the right place to start. And sometimes you move away from where you started and you find out there's something like that's better or more fitting. And I just enjoy the process. And this was really, really fun because Ben is such an like incredibly gifted writer, and it was like every single time we would be just throwing thoughts at each other, and I'd be like, I think I've got a great lyric, and then he'd be like, oh yeah, that's great, what about this? And I'd be like, yeah, no, that's better. And then I'd be like, what about this? And then he'd be like, yeah, it's pretty good too. So it was just kind of that process, and it was super fun. And I think we were, like I just said, we talked, we would be writing lyrics, but we were just talking about God and just who he is and how he works, and it kind of ended up in the song in a really unique way. And on the last, like Ben was, we were going to have one of the other guys sing the song, and Ben went in to sing the demo, and he starts singing just the demo, and I turned to Mikey, and we just looked at each other and went, yeah, no, Ben needs to sing this song. and then on the last night we were recording, the song was pretty much finished, to be honest. And the music, there was still a little space of music at the end, and we were just going to repeat basically the bridge. And then it was just like this thought of, like, we talk about the magnitude of God, and it's amazing, and it's hard to wrap words around who he is. And so we thought, well, like if we just add more zeros to 10,000, like that, it's, 10,000 reasons was great. We just thought we'd go with 100 billion. Not really, but when we started talking about the magnitude of it, something felt a little bit off right at the very end, and it was just more that for all the bigness of God, all the mystery that we can't comprehend and like can't put a number to, sometimes it felt cheap going 100 billion. And so that's the conversation. And it was like, well, what if we just kind of brought it back to the essence of who God really is, because he's always been about the individual, the one. And it was one of those kind of like happy accidents where it kind of at the very end it was like, hey, let's just go, you do it again 100 billion times, but what measure could amount to your desire? Like, how can you put a measure on God's love other than he's the one who never leaves the one behind? And it was like, oh, that's great. And then afterwards we're like, whoa, and it's called like So Will I, because there's something about everything that God does. Our job is just to respond and to give ourselves to the same thing. And that, it just made a lot of sense. And so, yeah, it's one of those songs.
Yeah. Right. And it's really cool to see people respond. You guys did a live set here in Nashville last night, and most people had a long time to live with the music, whatever. As soon as you guys start singing the song, like, I mean, there were moments in the song where people were just like, it's like cheering, for what was being said. And, I think there's those songs there's songs you sing, and then there's songs that actually preach to your soul, and this is one of those songs that really does that. So it's super great. So Ben, walk us through what you're playing. This some pretty simple chords. I mean, a lot of the work in this song is in the lyric, and so the music underneath is actually pretty simple.
Yeah, that's right. So in the verse here, we start. We did today in G. On the record, it's in A, but we brought it down today, and it starts on the C, the 4, to the 6, E minor, to the 5, D, back to the 4, and then going into the chorus, we just pass on the 1/3 to the 5, then chorus as you 1, G. 100 billion 6, catch your 5.
Very helpful.
Yeah. And da 1/3 to the 4. If the 6 and a 4, so will 1. It plays through like that for the rest of the chorus. And then the turnaround is actually pretty much half of the chorus progression. So will I. 1, 6, 5. Pass on the 3 again, and then you're into the verse. God of your promise, and that's pretty much it. The bridge, it just does the 4, 5, 6 thing. 4, 6, 5.
Yeah, I forgot how simple it is.
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah,
and kind of moves like a hymn.
Yeah,
the chords, but it kind of moves like a hymn. The passing notes and everything, and so it.
Yeah.
I think when we started I don't know if we were thinking this is going to be a song that people would sing in church, even when it was finished. And I think we allowed ourselves to write some lyrics, some thoughts, like the 8 billion. I see your heart 8 billion different ways. I don't know. We thought, let's just put a number in. Let's put the population of the earth in, approximately. Yeah. But then it was really funny because people started singing it. And then I was thinking, hang on, all these, like a lot of these hymns that are built on stanzas that we've learned over the years, their words aren't repetitive. You know, there's often hooks in there, but so I was like, oh, hang on, maybe people will sing it, and they have been.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I like singing it.
It's amazing. Such a great song, guys, and thanks so much for sitting down and sharing it with us.
Thanks, Jimmy.
And as you speak, 100 billion creatures catch your breath.
Take all I have in these hands and multiply, God, all that I am, and find my heart on the altar again. Set me on fire, set me on fire. Oh, take all I have in these hands and multiply, God, all that I am, and find my heart on the altar again. Set me on fire, set me on fire. Here I am, God, arms wide open, pouring out my life, gracefully broken. My heart stands in awe of your name. Your mighty love stands strong to the end. You will fulfill your purpose for me. You won't forsake me, you will be with me. Here I am, God, arms wide open, pouring out my life, gracefully broken. Here I am, God, arms wide open. Here I am, pouring out my life, gracefully broken. Oh, gracefully, all to Jesus now, all to Jesus now, holding nothing back, holding nothing back. I surrender, I surrender, I surrender, I surrender. Here I am, God, arms wide open. Here I am, pouring out my life, gracefully broken, pouring out my life again. Here I am, God, arms wide open, pouring out my life, gracefully broken. Here I am, God, arms wide open, pouring out my life, gracefully broken.
Well, Matt, thanks for sharing the song with us. Man, what an amazing song. This lyric and this theme is so powerful. And talk about the song a little bit. I know you wrote this with some friends, Tasha Cobbs Leonard, and also Jonas, and I think a couple other people were writing on the song as well.
Well, this song started life in Sacramento in a little hotel business room or something with Jonas Marin, Brian and Katie Torwalt and myself, and that's how the verses were formed. And it initially sat around for a while, and I kept thinking, how do we finish this song and does it feel right? And then Tasha Cobbs Leonard got in touch, and she said, hey, you and Jonas want to write together, and she's got a real heart for just bridging together some of the streams of the church. And I'm really kind of in the same place, to be honest. I've done an event with her before and thought, man, she's just carrying something so amazing, and some of the streams of the church, I'm traveling a lot, she's not around there. So we thought, let's spend some time together, write some songs together. That's awesome. And this song, Gracefully Broken, is one of the songs that came out of it. She's recorded it, and I've done it too. And you know, I love this theme. It's this sense that even in our brokenness, you know, there's a measure of brokenness, isn't there, when you're a worshiper, when you bring your offering, when you're having God shape your life. But even the brokenness, it's unkindly, it's ungracefully, and there's no cruelty in it, and there's no harshness in it, and I love that.
Yeah, I love that. It seems like it would be like a C.S. Lewis line, but it's such a great concept of when we're honest before God, it's a scary thing, yeah. and to be opened up like that, but it's God's grace that comes in a loving way and really just puts its arms around us in that moment.
That's
so
a great way
it's just a beautiful image there.
Yeah, and so it's just a lovely moment, and you know, it's beautiful that she's ended up singing on the record.
Yeah,
too.
It's amazing. Well, walk us through what you're playing. So you're actually doing a step down from the recording.
Yeah, we're in A on the recording. I have actually led it in G. Quite often I'm in A flat here, and I'm just playing like a D chord, which obviously, sorry, no, a C sharp chord, and everything to me is always on capo. So I'm
Capo's your
take
friend.
all I have in these hands and multiply, God, all that I am, and find my heart on the altar again, set me on fire. Super simple. We're going to the minor, here I am, God, arms wide open. Very simple progression for the chorus. And then the only other section of the song, the bridge, very similar chords again. All to Jesus now, all to Jesus now, holding nothing back, holding nothing back. So it's always going E minor, C, G, D. Nothing complicated in this song at all, but I like the way you can pace it. You can start real down, and it's just like, it's kind of slow build song that kind of takes off at some point.
Yeah, and I love that little vamp section at the end where Tasha comes in, and it's that little walk up there, but it's...
Yeah, we've got a beautiful little
just
moment
beautiful. You think
like,
the song's over, and it's like, oh, it's just like another part here.
And it's kind of an optional part, you know, because if you don't have for me singing it in a male key, if I don't have a female singer with me, it's kind of hard to incorporate that. So you can not do it, or you can put it in. It's just a walk-up thing. Your power at work in me, I'm broken gracefully, I'm strong when I am weak, I will be free. Yeah, wherever you want to go.
Yeah, that's great. Man, thanks so much for sharing the song with us.
Pleasure,
I can't wait for the church to hear it.
So glad.
Here I am, God, arms wide open. When I was searching, your love was never far. You made a way to get to me. You were the whisper leading me to your heart. Forever I belong to you. Now I can see clearly, my God, you for me. You won't let go. Your love won't let me down. And I know it's true. Yeah, I know that your love is all around. I believe in you, holding on to you, holding on, and I know you will never fail. I want all of you, you'll never change. Your love won't let me down. Love won't let need you. You listen as I pray. You leave the 99 for me. You paint the sky with promises of your grace. So I will find my way to you. Now I can see clearly, my God, you for me. You won't let go. Your love won't let me down. And I know it's true. Yeah, I know that your love is all around. I believe in you, holding on to you, holding on, and I know you will never fail. I want all of you, you never change. Your love won't let me down. Love won't let me down. Holding on, and I know you will never fail. I want all of you, you'll never change. Your love won't let me down. Love won't let me.
Well, hey everyone, welcome. I am here with some of the Young and Free crew, Alex, Laura and Mike. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
Now, we're talking about this brand new song, Love Won't Let Me Down, and you've just showed us this song, a great version, very different to the recording. Let's talk a little bit about the writing of the song.
Yeah.
I know you guys wrote this song together.
Yes.
Take us to that moment. How did the song come about?
Yeah, well, we write a lot together, which is really fun, and the method in which we get there is often very different. And this one in specific was one of the most unique days I feel like I've had of writing, and it was just kind of this dynamic of we kind of saw some gold in what we were searching for, but it took us a while to find it, and Mike can talk a little bit about that.
Well, yeah, I feel like we kind of exhausted every option, trying a whole bunch of different vibes, different chords, different tempos, even different lyric ideas. But there was always like maybe a couple small parts of a melody that meant that we wanted to keep going at it. And then I think it was towards the end of the day, like that night, when that theme, the title, Love Won't Let Me Down, kind of came. And that really resonated with both of us. And from there, the song kind of came together straight away. Would have been a couple hours, which felt like no time.
Yeah. Yeah, around 9 p.m. after starting at 10 a.m. But it was awesome. It's yeah, like Michael said, Love Won't Let Me Down. That theme and that concept really resonated with me. Essentially, sitting there that day and wondering what is the truth that I want to sing? What is the truth that I want to pen that is going to be able to put in people's mouths, that they're going to sing something, and that truth, that God's love, Jesus' love, isn't going to fail us. And yeah, I think what I love about this song is the story and the picture that it paints as well within the verses, that we often think on our journey and our relationship with Jesus that, his path is this straight journey, and we sort of will drift off and we think, oh, we've got to get back to God some way. But I think the beauty of Jesus and relationship with him is that he's constantly pursuing us, that maybe we do drift a little bit away, but like it says in the second verse, is that you would leave the 99 for me, that he's relentlessly pursuing us. And no matter where we go, no matter what we do, that this relationship with Jesus is never going to fail us. It's never going to let us down, and it's always going to be with us. So it was a fun song to write, and we're excited. Yeah,
that's great. Well done, guys. Laura, can you just talk to us about this writing process? You guys are in a writing season.
Yeah.
You've been away for a bit. You're home at the moment, and you're writing. What does that look like for the Young and Free crew?
Yeah, well, I think it always looks a little bit different just depending on where we are and who we're with and so on. A lot of it comes out of conversation, talking about whether it's, personal experience or thinking of, young people, we all work with young people, and Young and Free, you know, that's what we're about, and what we're meant to bring is a song for them. And so that's why I love a song like this, because working with a lot of young people, you see so many relationships that do let them down or do fail them. And so to be able to create such a high energy vibe, and that's full of freedom and that's full of joy and kind of has that triumphant kind of tone to it, and to be able to declare that, you know, the love of God won't let them down, I think is really powerful. And so I think it looks different all the time, but hopefully, you know, it's effective.
It's good. I love it. My kids love this song, so I'm glad they're going to be singing this song on Friday night. Let's talk through some of the chords. And you've done this today. You did it in a different key than the recording, right?
Yeah, that's right. I didn't want to have to scream at you today, so we took it down just a step. So we're playing it in the key of F. So I'm playing on acoustic with capo 1 in E form, and just sort of playing these nice finger picking chords. Just.
Tasty.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, we've talked about the fact this is very different version. You've done a very different version today than the recording, but you added a couple of melodies. Mike, do you just want to show us some of the melodies that you added specifically in the chorus there that helped this new version?
It's kind of after the chorus in the drop section. Obviously, we don't have like a dance track today, so still looking for ways to give it a lift and something fresh. So there's this counter melody that comes in against the drop. My piano part was going... And Laura was singing the same top line, which was a counter melody to what Pappas was singing, which is the main part.
Yeah, I think it worked really well. Do you guys want to try that right now, just to show us how that worked in with the main melody?
Yeah, sure. Goes a little something like this. Love won't let me down, 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 down. Love won't let me down.
Great.
Yeah, when we were coming up with that, we sort of, obviously we don't have a giant track doing something cool behind it, carrying that moment. So if we were to want to execute this in a different setting, we just talked about, rather than us just trying to sing that really quick melody of down, because it wouldn't sound very good, simplifying it, and again, rather than just singing block chords or block harmonies over it, we just talked about throwing a counter melody over it, and I think it's nice.
Yeah, I think it's great. So Laura, what do you think? I'm a worship leader. I'm watching this video right now, and I'm getting my songs ready for Sunday morning. Is this a song that I could look at?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think sometimes we can be a little bit apprehensive, you know, on a Sunday morning in particular, with a song like this, especially the original kind of version with the track and so on. But, you know, we've seen it, you know, work and bring that energy and bring that just positivity and that freedom and that joy that I talked about. And so, you know, I would say song 1, like, that's a great place to put it. Or if you're doing it in a more intimate kind of setting in the version like we did today, you could even, you know, song 3 or so on. It's a beautiful, worshipful kind of vibe as well.
Yeah. Well done, guys. It's a really, really great song. Congratulations. Thanks for being here today.
Your love won't let me down. Love won't let me.
Break down the walls, push back the dark, light of the world, move in our hearts. There's a stir in the spirit, heaven, something holy, can you feel it, heaven? Let your glory and your power, let your majesty and word flood the earth, flood the earth. has to go, darkness retreat. Every heart here finding healing, heaven. In this moment, you're revealing heaven. Let your glory and your power, let your majesty and worth flood the earth, flood the earth. Let the rumors of your kingdom, let your name without reserve flood the earth, flood the earth. Ooh, come and move. We invite your presence again and again and again. Break down the walls, push back the dark, light of the world, move in our hearts, heaven. Flood the earth. Break down the walls, push back the dark, light of the world, move in our hearts, heaven. Flood the earth. 'Cause freedom is here, fear has to leave, pain has to go, darkness retreat, heaven. Flood the earth. Oh, freedom is here, fear has to leave, pain has to go, darkness retreat, heaven. Flood the earth. Let your glory and your power, let your majesty and worth flood the earth, flood the earth. Let the rumors of your kingdom, let your name without reason flood the earth, flood the earth. Let your glory and your power, let your majesty and worth flood the earth. Come flood the earth. Let the rumors of your kingdom, let your name without reserve flood the earth. Come flood the earth.
Brian and Katie, good to see you guys.
Good to see you, Jamie.
Thanks for sharing this song with us. Man, on the new Jesus Culture record, a song called Flood the Earth.
Yeah.
And Katie, maybe start with you and like talk about, I love the things around this song. It really is a prayer and just asking God to come and do what only He can do. But talk about this song and just the ideas. I know you wrote this with some friends as well.
Yep. One of our friends, Mia Fields, who's an amazing writer here in Nashville, brought a piece of this song to us, and she said initially it just reminded her of us, and as soon as I heard it, she just sang it for us a cappella actually the first time, just a little piece of it, and the first time I heard it I was like, I could sing this all day. First of all, I love the declaration, I love the prayer, it's sort of an invitation, you know, and some of the song was done, like I said before, but then we actually wrote onto it and finished it with her, and at our house in Sacramento at home, and one of the parts that means a ton to me is the second verse, and it's really a prophetic declaration. Freedom is here, fear has to leave, pain has to go, darkness retreat. And for me, that's what it looks like when heaven comes, when heaven floods the earth. That is the response. That's the effect that heaven has, is pain. There's no more pain, there's no more fear. Darkness, there's no place for darkness. And so that is one of my favorite parts of the song to sing. I probably repeat it too much live when we sing it, but it is just a powerful moment, and we've sung it at church a whole bunch, and it's just been really fun to sing with our congregation throughout different seasons, seeing God use it and move through that declaration, and remind people of the truth, remind people of what it looks like when heaven invades earth.
Yeah.
So.
And Brian, we were talking about just the power of songs like this, where you're singing things in the present that are still, maybe for some people are yet to come, or maybe that's not the season they're in, but you're speaking that kind of over their situation.
Yeah, there's something so powerful about declaring what God has on his heart, what we see in Scripture, and just declaring it as a congregation in one, in unity. And there's so much power. We've seen God do so many things in moments like that. So this song, we feel like, can be one of those moments in a Sunday morning or a conference or whatever. So
yeah, that's amazing. Well, walk us through what you're playing. You're capo 4?
Capo 4, key of B. The beginning of the song is all keys and Katie just singing, but it's real simple. It's G sharp minor to the B to the F sharp. So 6, 1, 5. And then the second part of the verse, pre-chorus, it goes to the 2, which is the C sharp minor. We normally just write 4 chords in a song, but we felt like, mixing it up a little bit. But so it goes to goes to the 2, C sharp minor to the B to the 4, which is the E, and it just holds that until you get to the chorus. To the let your glory and your power to the G sharp minor, majesty and word, and it just hovers on that forever for the chorus. And then verse 2 is the same as verse 1, and then the bridge, there's 2 sections of the bridge, and it goes real simple from the 6, 4, 1, 5, the G sharp minor to the E to the B to the F sharp, and then the second half to the freedom is here. It just starts to walk up. Just the 4, the E. The freedom has to leave. G sharp minor, B. The 5/7. And then E. Fear has to leave, pain has to go, darkness retreat, heaven. E, F sharp, and then C sharp minor. Let your glory, and then back to the chorus. So there you go.
Like repeat 10 times.
Repeat 10 times. Yeah. Just keep going it over and over. That's the bridge section that we just will go over and over and over again. For
Absolutely.
Sure. But,
well, guys, thanks for sharing the song with us.
Absolutely.
Really great. Well done.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
David, Ed, good to have you guys here today. We're listening to a song called All My Hope, and this is pretty gospel. Ed was playing the piano just a minute ago, getting ready to do this, and it's fun. And so before we play it, just want to have you guys talk about it and hear the story behind it.
Absolutely. Well, I don't know. Every time I go, I was just telling Ed a while ago, one of my favorite places on the planet, Ed has this little, like when you get, I always take Uber when I'm in Nashville, Tennessee, where he lives. Actually, he lives in like Franklin, Tennessee, which is like a more pleasant version of Nashville. It's like real nice. Like even Comcast people are nice there. It's like amazing. And so, but I've always got Uber, and the Uber drops me off at your place. First of all, it's like weird to tell them where to take me, and they feel like it's like we're going into nowhere, and we go into nowhere, and then they take me up your little gravel driveway, and they drop me off. And my favorite place is where I go into your house. And there's like this little, there's a porch. There's like a proper porch over to your left side of things, but then there's like a little porch that I go into that has a door, I guess, for people like me to come into your house. Like not the front door, but like another side door kind of thing. Like you won't let me come through the front door or something like that. But anyway, it's my favorite place, that porch. How many lyrics have happened sitting on that porch? It's amazing. So I walk up that porch into Ed's domain, and he's like, hey man, I'm thinking about this. And then this happens.
Yeah, it was kind of fun.
Does that mean you guys are going to play?
Yeah, it was crazy. He was telling me about, I just had
the record.
Hadn't even, this was kind of another one of like that, the way that picture sort of showed up with the title on it. We were like, what the heck? I remember about this, that like you hadn't even really told me the vision for what your
For the American Prodigal
Yeah,
record.
American Prodigal, where you were going with it, you know? But in my mind, I had you on my mind, and I was just, you know, dorking around with this idea. I mean, it's definitely a bit old school, but you have such a roots thing about you. You know, I've always loved that. You have such a true artistry and a love for like the, just everything that is the purest form of music. You know, I think that's what shows up in a lot of your stuff. Mm-hmm. So it was cool to just, you know, have this rough idea.
That was what's crazy. And so then when he starts playing this, I'm like, oh my word, this is like an anchor track. This is like when you drop the anchor and it has root in something that everything else will hinge on. And then so not just like for the thematic content of the record, but just in terms of like the church and the moment that we exist in right now currently, and how in the world we could say something that bonds us in a deep way. Just a simple, all my hopes in Jesus, like that's oh man. So I don't know, it's one of those deals. We kept saying this throughout the process of this whole record, is like I would be like, dude, do you ever feel like you're barely here? You know, like you're just barely here, and things are coming through you, like an Old Testament character or something, where it's like you're being used, but you know you're the most unlikely person that he should be breathing through. And this was one of those songs, like I'm like, oh my gosh, I would sing like a line and we would look at each other and be like, what in the world, bro?
Yeah.
Like it just felt like, this ain't us, man. And that's the best feeling you could ever have. Awesome. Messing around with music and trying to say something on behalf of the church is like, that's the best feeling you can have. It's like, I don't even know. We'll probably look real clever but we aren't. Something just breathed in that room that day and was on that front porch.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let's hear it.
I've been held by the Savior. I felt fire from above. I've been down to that river. I ain't the same. A prodigal returned. Oh, my hope is in Jesus. Thank God my yesterday's gone. Oh, my sins are forgiven. Oh, I've been washed by the blood.
Man. So we're gonna make everybody go listen to the record to hear the rest of it.
Yeah, a little taste. Yeah, a little. It's, I guess it's just like a chorus. I mean, a verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus. Yeah, it's
awesome.
goes, and double chorus at the end. Everything else. There's no bridge or nothing.
Cool. Yeah. Well, Ed, I'm watching your hands that whole time, and I think we're going to have the sheet music for this one. But what can we learn from you right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's,
playing
there's some little, like there's a lot in that old, gospel stuff. There's a lot of those, I call them slippery notes, but this stuff's not really necessary to pull the song off.
I like the slippery notes.
I do too. I mean, so yeah, it's just and some of these chords I don't even know the names of.
Well, just play it and people can figure it out.
So it's just, I think the song is actually in B flat. When I turned 40, I made a decision I wasn't going to play anything except in C. So I'm transposed. Simplify my life. So I'm playing it in C. I'll call out the numbers. So it just starts on a 1, and it just kind of walks up 1. It's almost kind of a lean on me-ish type deal. So it's 1, 2, 1/3, 4. And you can sneak a little flat 7, flat 7. Just quick to it, and then 1, 1, 2, 1/3, 5, and then that, which is a 4/5. That chord shows up quite a bit. So it'd be like in C, it's a G in the bass with an F on top. So that's kind of the intro and verse picture, you know. And then 6, and then 5, and then 1, 4, and then to a 1/5, and then a 4/5, and then a 1, and then a little quick 4/5 right before the chorus. And the chorus is kind of very similar. It might be the exact same chorus. Let me walk through it just to make sure. 1, and then that same walk up. 2, 1/3, 4, and I sneak that flat 7. And the way you kind of do that is you just like go that B flat real quick in C, and but again the song's in A flat, so you're gonna have to transpose it. How confusing is that?
He put a capo on the keyboard, really did.
And then a 5, and that's a 4/5 again. My sins. 2, 1/3, 4, same little move, and then one new chord here for the chorus would be, which.
That's a good chord.
I don't know what that guy is called. It's some kind of a diminished. So if you're playing in F, you would just raise the, if it's first inversion F, you know, F, A, C, you would just raise that F up to an F sharp, and then.
So what notes are you playing right there?
Yeah, so that's a F sharp in the bass, and then the chord is an F sharp, an A, and a D. So the 4 to the, just a little diminished raise, and then, or excuse me, the 1. So let me go through that again. So, oh, my hope is in Jesus. Oh, yesterday's gone. All my sins are forgiven. Then a 1/5. 4/5. Been washed by the one.
There you have it. The transposing thing is totally cool. I'm glad I'm not the only one. So.
Oh man.
And in main stage you can just hide it. You put it in the program and nobody even knows.
If a guy's good enough to play in A flat, then he won't have any problem transposing that.
For the rest of us, we can do that.
That's right.
So.
To the capo.
That's right, capo piano.
Cool. Thank you guys for sharing it with us. Appreciate you coming by today.
Absolutely.
Thank God my yesterday. Sunrise, you brought the sun into my dark night. Wide-eyed, you brought the color to my black and white. Ooh, feel like I'm living for the first time. Ooh, and I'm dancing in your light. This is what freedom feels like. This is what freedom feels like. This is what freedom feels like. This is what freedom feels like, feels like. Landslide, your love came crashing into my life. High tide, your grace is washing every wrong right. Ooh, for the first time. Ooh. And now I'm dancing in your light. This is what freedom feels like. This is what freedom feels like. This is what freedom feels like. This is what freedom feels like, feels like. I was lost and your love came to find me. I was blind till you showed me my victory. I was bound and you set me free. Now I'm alive, I'm alive. This is what freedom feels like. This is what freedom feels like. Oh, this is what freedom feels like. This is what freedom feels like, feels like. This is what freedom feels like. This is what freedom feels like. This is what freedom, this is what freedom. Oh, oh, that's what freedom feels like.
Man, that was fun. I love this song, What Freedom Feels Like. Just what's the story behind it? I love that it's upbeat, and just tell us a little bit of the heart behind it.
So it's just a fun song, you know, and I really, when I was writing this song, I was thinking about it in that first song out of the gate in church, just that upbeat song. And, you know, I really wanted to paint a picture. I got the idea first of just the hook, What Freedom Feels Like. And I'm like, man, like there's something that happens whenever you first get saved, whenever you first meet Jesus, and that in that moment when you get free of something, or that feeling of that burden lifted off your shoulders. And you know, I just wanted to really just write some lyrics that kind of just portrayed that, and to create a song production wise, and that just felt good. You know, it felt like that moment, what that would feel like. And so really that's where it came from, just wanting to write a song like that and wanting to have something fun on the record and the set. And you know, a lot of the lyrics kind of just paint different metaphors, different pictures of what that feels like when you get free, when you get saved, when you meet Jesus. And you know, so and then the bridge is like this, you know, the story of salvation. You know, I was lost and now I'm found. You know, I was bound, now I'm free, I'm alive. And so, man, it's really just meant to be this celebratory thing. And I love, as I've been leading worship, you know, for a while now, I really love leading people to a place of celebration, really just helping encourage people to say, hey, this is something to celebrate. Jesus is something to celebrate. This is good news. You know, there's a reason.
Sometimes we feel like it's not okay.
Yeah.
To like get excited and be celebrative. And
for sure. And
contrary to popular belief, it is okay.
It is okay. And it's good news. You know, it's something to be celebrated. And I find myself a lot leading worship, just as I'm, you know, kind of encouraging people in the middle of songs, I'll say, let's celebrate this together. You know, I just really kind of found that as a thing, just this revelation that I've had. And so I just wanted to write a song that in some way, you know, just portrayed that. So
cool. Well, awesome, man. Well, show us how to play it.
So it's super easy. It's the same 4 chords, really only 3 chords, but it's the same progression the whole time. And I'm kind of doing it with the bass note on the E string here, and then the 3rd on the G. So those 2 together. So for the F, you're going like that, 1st and 2nd fret. For the G, 3rd and 4th fret. For the A minor, you're going to go just both on the 5th fret and back. So that's really the verses and everything are in that progression. And then in some ways I'm going up high just to kind of give it a little bit of a lift, a little bit of a different feel. But it's really the same chords, same notes, just an octave up. So I'm going here on the A and the B string. I'm going to the 8th and the 10th fret like that. 10th and the 12th for the G. 12th and 13th for the A minor. Back to the 10th and 12th. So you can kind of create the same thing up here as down here. And that's kind of just acoustic version. I'm kind of just picking like this. If you wanted to kind of strum it, you could do the same thing up here with these. But it's really just the same chords the whole time. super easy to play, super fun. You can kind of just forget about what you're playing and just have fun with it.
And you could play just the normal F, G,
yeah, you
and
could totally
A minor
just.
at the bottom, but why?
But I mean, that's what you want to do, right? But this has a cool little melody to it, you know, which is like kind of the acoustic is a pretty big part of the song on the record, so it kind of is like a hook, you know. Now, so that's how you play that.
Cool, man.
Yep.
Well, thanks for coming and sharing it with us. Appreciate it.
This is what freedom feels like. This is what freedom feels like. This is what freedom feels like.
There's a space in every beating heart. There's a longing that reaches past the stars. There's an answer to every question mark. There's a name. There's a hope flowing through these veins. There's a voice that echoes through the pain. There's an ember ready for the flame. There's a name. We will fix our eyes on the one who overcame. We will stand in awe of the one who breaks the chains. Love has a name. Love has a name. Jesus. Love has a name. Love has a name. Jesus. There's a joy that triumphs over fear. There's a laughter that wipes away all tears. There's a presence changes atmospheres. There's a name. We will lift our eyes to the one who overcame. We will stand in awe of the one who breaks the chains. Love has a name. Love has a name. Jesus. Love has a name. Love has a name. Jesus. Victory has a name. Victory has a name. Jesus. Hope has a name. Hope has a name. Jesus. The name is lifted up forever. The name that shakes the earth and shakes the heavens. The hope of every heart, the Savior of the world, Jesus. Jesus. We will fix our eyes on the one who overcame. We will stand in awe of the one who breaks the chains.
Kim and Jeffrey, great to see you guys.
Good to see you.
Thanks for sharing these new songs with us. It's always exciting to hear new Jesus culture music. And we've gotten to live with these songs for a few weeks now. And I was actually in Sacramento the night that you guys recorded this.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking at the time, this song, it was like, man, this is so powerful. Just some of the lines that are in it, and talking about all the things that Jesus is in the song.
Yeah.
And seeing the congregation respond to that was really powerful. Talk about this song a little bit and how it came about.
Yeah, so this song I wrote with some friends, and it was all about wanting to kind of put some language to who God is in our lives, and kind of really painting a picture. You know, he's the one we fix our eyes on, the one who overcame, the one who breaks the chains. He's the voice that is pulling us through the dark places. He's the one, one of my favorite lines is the answer to every question mark, you know, that he is the answer we're looking for in every question. And we wrote this song with the intention of, in a church worship service, the worship leader could insert really whatever word it is that they want to say in that moment of who God is to them. So the chorus says, love has a name, Jesus. But from that point, and the way that I did it when we did it live was, you know, hope, joy, victory, you know, all these different things, like who is Jesus to you? And so we kind of wanted to leave it where it was kind of open to where different churches and worship leaders could insert their own words and expression of who God is to them and sing that out. So
yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot, you know, we have a lot of songs that are about just kind of like, you know, Jesus and attributes, but I think it's really helpful for churches just to be able to really, like you said, customize, but also like work in all these different thoughts about who God is to you and what Jesus has done for you. It's really powerful. And I love, my favorite line is that setup to the chorus, you know, we'll fix our eyes on the one who overcame. I remember that night, everybody's just like,
yeah.
So powerful.
The octave jump again.
Yes.
That always makes you kind of go, yes!
Absolutely. Well, Jeffrey, walk us through what you're playing chord-wise.
Yeah, well, this song's in G, and it's got a lot of chords in it. So here we go. The verse is 6 E minor, 5 D, 1 G, 5 D, A minor 2, 6, 5, 1, 5. Like that. Pre-chorus is 4-1-5, 4-1-5, C, G, D, and then the chorus is C, G, D, E minor, or 4-1-5-6. And then the only other part of the song is the bridge, and it has a lot of changes in it. That goes 2-1-5-6, 2-1-5-6, passing 3, 2-1-5-6, 4-1-5. Here, I'll play it. Bridge.
Absolutely. Right. A lot of chords.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
It's not too bad. They're all normal chords.
Well, guys, thanks so much for sharing the song. Kim, it's exciting to hear the new music. Well done.
Thank you.
To
things are possible. God of the miracle, oh, let your will be done. We pray for heaven here today, your kingdom to reign always, here on earth as in heaven, here on earth as in heaven. You give us all we need, forgive us everything, help us to love as you loved us. Now come and build your throne as we go where you go. God, let your kingdom come. We pray for heaven here today, your kingdom to reign always, here on earth as in heaven, here on earth as in heaven. Yours is the kingdom, the power and the glory, now and forever. Amen. Yours is the kingdom, the power and the glory, now and forever. Amen. Amen. We pray for heaven here today, your kingdom to reign always, here on earth as in heaven. Oh, here on earth as in heaven. Oh, here on earth as in heaven.
Guys, thanks so much for sharing the song. It's great to have the full band here.
Oh, yeah.
Man, love the cajon back here, Josh. Nice job. Man, this song is so cool in that, man, there's not a lot of songs about prayer in the church and praying. And I know as we've talked, like you guys have seen a really strong response as you've led this at different places. People are responding to the song. But we'll start with you, Tim. Like, talk about the song and just, you know, how the song got going, what were the thoughts behind writing it?
Yeah, well, there's been a really exciting move in the UK over the last couple of years where the Archbishop of Canterbury's called the nation to pray in the run-up to Pentecost in June. And so last year, hundreds of thousands of people gathered to pray, and cathedrals were full. I think there's 3,000 prayer meetings all over the country, and we're doing it again 2017. And we've also, as Worship Central, been very much connecting with a movement called 24/7, led by a great friend of ours, Pete Gregg, and seeing worship and prayer coming together. And it's been really exciting. And so I guess we were trying to write a song that was a prayer. And what's the greatest prayer? It's the Lord's Prayer. So we kind of tried to find a way of putting those amazing, timeless words to fresh music. And it's been exciting. I mean, we this whole coming together of prayer and worship feels like there's so much life in it. And so we're really excited with this song.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, walk us through what you're playing. Like you're capoed like 12 there.
G chord. I like the G chords. It's just fun. But it can be you know, and the record is done in C. We just did in D. Tim's got a bit of a girlier voice now. But so it's basically the chorus is really simple. It just walks from C. It's kind of just C to B, holding the kind of G shape really. D, E minor. That's literally basically the chorus. But then the verse is C, Father high above, D, hallowed, and then E minor. that's the verse. And then quickly the bridge is a C. Yours is the kingdom, D. And then 1/3, the power and glory. And then 6. Now and forever, amen. It just keeps going through that. Yeah. So that's basically, that's it.
Yeah, it's actually capo 7. It wasn't quite 12.
Yeah, it's close, but yeah.
Guys, thanks for sharing the song with us, and I'm really excited about the church getting around this song and to see that prayer and worship come back together in the church. Thanks.
We pray for heaven here today, your King. Who we got? 1, 2, 3. What a Savior. At the cross you showed how much you love me. Miles away I threw myself on mercy. I was dead and buried, then you raised me back to life. Raised me back to life with a promise. Every day I know that you are with me. Stepping out of darkness into glory. Heaven came to rescue, now I'm walking in the light. Walking in the light on Mercy Road. Thank you for saving me, oh I found hope. On Mercy Road. Goodness will follow me and lead me home. Give it all now. Running through this ball, but it's not easy. Gotta look to you because you call me. Living with a purpose and I'm never turning back. Never turning back on Mercy Road. Thank you for saving me, oh I found hope. On Mercy Road. Goodness will follow me and lead me home. I know your love will always carry on every side. God, you surround me. My strength, my guide, you're everything I need. I know your love will always carry on every side. God, you surround me. My strength, my guide, you're everything I need. Oh, on Mercy Road. Thank you for saving me, oh I found hope. On Mercy Road. Goodness will follow me and lead me home. Oh, I'm on Mercy Road. Thank you for saving me, oh I found hope. On Mercy Road. Goodness will follow me and lead me home.
Well, guys, thanks for joining us, man. Great
Thank you.
performance. I like the whole team here. It's awesome.
Especially Nick.
Yes,
None of this is
especially
possible
Nick.
without
And
his
the
orange
orange
guitar.
guitar. Yeah.
Orange guitar. You don't see many orange guitars
You
around
don't.
here. No,
You don't. Well, man, this song is actually Mercy Road. It's the title of the new Worship Central record.
Yeah.
And man, it's such a testimony, I think, of we were talking earlier of where you guys are walking as a church, and in the city here, Birmingham, new work. For people that don't know, it's a new work you guys planted, a year and a half ago, and it's just amazing what God's doing through the church. But talk about this song. We'll start with you, Tim, about just kind of what the idea behind it was.
Well, I mean, people often ask me, when you're writing songs, what comes first? Melody, lyrics. And this one, a few of us were writing a song and sort of had this great melody, great track, felt really good. And we were always wrestling to find the right words to kind of match in with the theme of the music. And sitting in church, and this guy was preaching, and he just said this phrase, we're walking on Mercy Road. And that just jumped out, and I just loved that. And we're actually trying to write it into another song. And then I can't remember who, but felt actually that theme could fit brilliantly with this musical idea we had. And actually, Josh, you were there, and you've sort of this whole idea of the journey.
Yeah, I mean, we just felt that like Mercy Road kind of, it is like the journey of the Christian life, the Christian walk. You know, there's we're not just headed for a destination. It's just not the end point. That's the only thing in our mind. But actually, it's walking with Jesus. It's loving Him, coming back to the cross all the time, asking for mercy. And the journey is that there's a huge value in that as well.
Yeah, and I think also just you guys, where you're situated, and you're kind of an inner city church, and around you is like just tons of need of all kinds.
Yeah.
And man, what a great song, not just for the church to sing, but also as a reminder of what's happening around us and the mercy God had for us, He also has for those.
Well, and it's interesting, most people, I think, turn up to church feeling shame and guilt. And actually, that's the beauty of the cross, is that all that shame, condemnation, guilt has been lifted off us. And we're on Mercy Road where, you know, new mercies every morning. So that's something to get excited and joyful about. And hopefully this music captures something of the fun and joy of that.
Yeah, it's a great song for Nick to dance to.
And he loves to dance.
He loves
on
to
his own.
dance. But Josh, let's do some chords with you. On the recording, you guys are in the key of B.
Yeah.
But for what we just did, you played it in drop D because we were doing it in A. So that's not confusing enough.
No.
So why don't you're in capo 2, and you're going to show us in G shapes. Is
Yeah,
that right?
in G shapes.
Yeah.
Great, so taking it from the verse, we go. What a Savior, E minor. At the cross you showed how much you love me. Going to the sea. Miles away I threw myself on mercy. E minor again. I was dead and buried, then you raised me back from the sea. Raised me back to life. And then we do another verse, and kind of at the end of that verse, we end it rather than on the C, we go to the A minor. Raised me back to life. So the minor, and then into the chorus. On mercy, D, E. Thank you for saving me, C, D, E minor. On mercy road, goodness will follow me and lead me home. Now into the bridge. We come in on the A minor. I know your love will always carry to the sea. On every side, God, you surround. E minor, my strength, my guide, you're everything I need. And back to the G. Then we just repeat that and back into on mercy road, etc. and so on.
Yeah. Well, guys, thanks for sharing the song with us, man. It's super exciting. This is a great opener for church. I think people are really going to love it.
Thanks.
Thanks.
On mercy road, thank you for saving me. I found hope.
Welcome to the New Song Cafe at worshiptogether.com. Today we have United Pursuit singing the song Nothing I Hold On To. So sit back and enjoy this New Song Cafe. Will and Brock, it's great to be with you guys.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Thanks for letting us come in, invade your space a little bit here in Knoxville.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And this song is called Nothing I Hold On To. We were just talking about this song. Kind of started off in 2 separate sections, ended up kind of being one longer song. But you guys are going to play it for us, and we'll circle back around and talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, all right.
I lean not on my own understanding. My life is in the hands of the maker of heaven. I lean not on my own understanding. My life is in the hands of the maker of heaven. I give it all to you, God, trusting that you make something beautiful out of me. I give it all to you, God, trusting that you make something
wide open. I will climb this mountain with my hands wide open. I will climb this mountain with my hands wide. There's nothing I hold on to. 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 Mountain with my hands wide open. I will climb this mountain with my hands wide open. I will climb this mountain with my hands wide open. I will climb this mountain with my hands. There's nothing I hold on to. There's nothing I hold on to. There's nothing I hold on to. There's nothing I hold on to.
Wow. It's really a song of surrender and letting go and trusting God. Talk about the song a little bit in the writing. The way you guys process and create songs, you know, that a lot of them start in the worship time. Mm-hmm. And during those worship times, there seems to be a good amount of just kind of listening. You know, I even noticed that in some of our time, you know, just setting in on worship with you guys. And there's just moments where you kind of sit and you just kind of, you know, like, what's God saying? You know, what can we hear? But talk about this song and kind of how it started. Did it start out of that, just that corporate worship time?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I think the whole thing was during a worship time, and kind of got pieced together over the course of a night. And yeah, I mean, you can kind of tell it's like it's basically just a lot of little simple phrases that sort of just popped out one at a time slowly. And it's the kind of thing I think we learned. Sometimes those simple phrases, they're really repetitive, but as we would sing them, the more times we would sing them, really the more it would kind of move from our heads to our hearts and really begin to strike us. And it's one thing to sing a phrase once, but if you sing it enough times, it's like something different starts to happen, and you start to make that statement of faith in kind of a whole new way. So that's kind of what that song, how it came out and what it's been. So it's
and that's good. That's a great take on kind of the repetition song. Yeah. Because a lot of people will say, you know, you hear people say, it's like, well, it's the same phrases kind of over and over again. But you're right in that, you know, oftentimes we'll sing over a line and we sang it, but it never really registered what we actually said. Yeah. The repetition allows, as you said, it allows you to, as you sing it over and over, it begins to mean something different, and it kind of settles into your heart a little bit, and then God begins to use that, you know, to kind of work on you. And so there's something there in that. You know, I remember when Martin Smith wrote "I Could Sing Your Love Forever," and he got so much flack over it in the church over it, just, you know, it was repetitive.
Same thing.
You know, he was literally singing of his love over and over. But there was something there, and as the church sang and as it entered into that type of just that idea over and over, God began to do some really incredible things. And so I love that. So let's talk about what you're playing here. You're in the key of G, is that right? Yeah. Yeah. It took me a while to figure that out because you're playing some different type of chord positions up higher on the neck. Kind of walk us through what you're playing.
Yeah, totally. So the whole progression is a G, E minor, C, and G, and so it repeats those four chords the whole song. But when we made up the song, I was kind of messing around with playing what is like a C over G chord, but then if you slide that all the way up to, I think, the 10th fret, it just becomes a normal G chord. So it's just kind of a different way of playing that
And
G.
you're just not playing the
yeah,
kind
just
of
leaving
bottom-
off those
bottom
all those
string.
fingers. So just using those
Yeah.
3 fingers, and just kind of gives it a funky open sort of sound. And then this is just kind of a different way of playing an E minor. So it's the same as an E minor chord, but again just kind of a funky different way. And then just the C and the G. And on the bigger parts, I would drop into just playing the open, standard chords to give it some energy. So that's that's it.
Well, guys, thanks so much for sharing the song with us. It's great to be with you.
Appreciate it.
There's nothing I hold on to. There's nothing I hold on to. There's nothing. If I have you, I have everything. Nothing else compares. If I have you, I have everything. I am satisfied. None like you in the universe. No one else compares. None like you in the universe. Who can stand beside? You've captured my rebel heart. 'Cause all that matters is to love you and be loved by you. All the riches of the world cannot compare to you. Let all else fade away. Let all else fade away. Let it fade away. Life is found in no other name. Jesus, you alone. Life is found in no other name. There's nothing that comes close. You've captured my rebel heart. God, you've captured my rebel heart. So all that matters is to love you and be loved by you. All the riches of the world cannot compare to you. Let all else fade away. Let all else fade away. Let every idol fall. Lay my ambition down. All I need is you. Jesus, only you. God, I surrender all. Nothing is hidden now. All I need is you. Jesus, only you. Let every idol fall. Lay my ambition down. All I need is you. Jesus, only you. God, I surrender all. Nothing is hidden now. All I need is you. Jesus, only you. 'Cause all that matters is to love you and be loved by you. All the riches of the world cannot compare to you. Let all else fade away. Let all else fade away. 'Cause all that matters is to love you and be loved by you. All the riches of the world cannot compare to you. Let all else fade away. Let all else fade away. a story bought by grace. Love unrelenting called my name. Oh, what a mystery, oh, what grace. I am changed. All my affection, all of my praise, all my devotion for all of my days. I pour out my worship and lift up your name. Jesus, you're all that I needed and more. Your riches of mercy overflow, love that surpasses all I know. I'm filled with the wonder of who you are, who you are. All my affection, all of my praise, all my devotion for all of my days. I pour out my worship and lift up your name. Jesus, you're all that I needed and more. All that I needed and more. You have my heart, you have my soul, you have my yes, you have my all, you have my heart, you have my soul, you have my yes, you have my all, you have my heart, you have my soul, you have my yes, you have my all, you have my heart, you have my soul, you have my yes, you have my all. All my affection, all of my praise, all my devotion for all of my days. I pour out my worship, lift up your name. Jesus, you're all that I needed and more. All that I needed and more. Oh, Jesus, Jesus. You have my heart, you have my soul, you have my yes, you have my all, you have my heart, you have my soul, you have my yes, you have my all.
Luke, Anna, Tim, good to see you guys.
Great to be here, man.
Man, it's exciting to hear these songs that are coming out of Worship Central. And you guys are all in church here together in Birmingham. And man, this song is so encouraging, a song called Devotion. And I love this, especially love this bridge. I really feel like there's something powerful there of just this sacrifice of praise that we're giving to God. But maybe, Luke, we start with you and talk about the song and just kind of how it started and the theme behind it.
Yeah, well, just to pick up on that, really, the song started in a just time of worship. I wasn't leading. We were at this church festival called Focus that a lot of us go to, and I just felt God give me that song, that part of the song, the bridge. You have my heart, you have my soul, you have my yes, you have my all. And I actually felt like God say, I think you should lead that in the moment. So I got up on stage, and Tim was actually leading at the time, and he said, yeah, come, you know.
Well, I was very offended initially. I thought it was very rude, but...
But you were like, you know, oh yeah, if you've got a song, bring it, you know. And so I think from there, we just felt like there was more to that moment. And sometimes I think with songwriting that happens, that God gives you a little deposit of something that he's trying to communicate to you, and your job is to go away and kind of flesh it out. And so that's what we did. So Tim and I got together and worked a little more on that, and we came up with the chorus melody, and then actually was at a songwriting retreat and worked on this with Dean Usher from Hillsong Melbourne. Great guy, fantastic songwriter, and the song kind of took its full form after that.
Wow. So it actually is representing multiple continents here, from Australia to US to...
the Commonwealth.
Yes.
That's right. Don't think the US would want to...
That's awesome. Well, kind of walk us through what you're playing on this song. Which key are you in?
Yeah, so we're in the key of C, and I'm playing C shapes down here, super easy. So the verse starts on the A minor, F, C, G, repeats that. So really easy. I'm just kind of keeping that nice kind of ring shapes. And then the chorus starts on the C. All my affection, 6, so A minor, walking down, G, F, and then same again. Lift up your name, Jesus, you're all, F, I need it and more, C. And then the bridge again, super simple, C, you have my heart, F, you have my soul, A minor, you have my yes, back to the F. And I was kind of just bring that around the thumb there just to give a bit of bass. But you can really stick to those shapes the whole way through. Again, you could lower it to B and play capo 4 G shapes if you wanted. But it's super easy. And so I think, you know, works for a small group as well. But we've loved leading at church.
Yeah, because I think that's been really exciting, leading at churches and around the places. You know, I believe intimacy in worship's a massively important part of what we do, and that kind of this chorus, I think sometimes having space at the end just to sing it over, you know, all my affection, you know, they're intimate phrases, but it's a powerful part of our worship that we come before God Almighty, ruler of the heavens and the earth, and yet we're his children, we can just pour out our praise. And actually it's often been such a sweet sense of God's presence or space for people just to engage with the space of that. A lot of our worship can be quite, come on, you know, and it's actually nice just to remind ourselves that part of our relationship with God is as G.K. Chesterton said, a passionate love affair. I think this song helps engage with that.
Yeah, that's great. Well, guys, thanks so much for sharing the song with us.
Thank you.
In the presence of my enemies, when the storm is crashing down on me, I will trust in what I cannot see. I wait for you, I wait for you. You can part the violent sea, you can reach the depths of me. I know nothing is impossible. I know every chain is breakable. I know on Christ the solid rock I stand. I am waiting at the water's edge, holding steadfast to your promises. Even though I'm not there yet, I trust in you, I trust in you. You can part the violent sea,
hope is built on nothing less than Jesus' blood and righteousness. When darkness seems to hide his face, I rest on his unchanging grace. In every high and stormy gale, my anchor holds within the veil. On Christ the solid rock I stand. All other ground is sinking sand. I know nothing is impossible. I know every chain is breakable. I know on Christ the solid rock I stand. My fear is conquered by his perfect love. My life is ransomed by his royal blood. I know on Christ the solid rock I stand.
Kim, it's good to see you.
Thank you.
Thanks for making the time to talk about these new songs from your record. We were just talking about this song. This song is so singable, and it's a song called I Know. Talk about this. I know you wrote this with another writer, but just this song, and I know even in the bridge of this song, there's some of that old hymn that kind of comes in,
Yeah.
which is like instant familiarity. But
Yeah.
talk about the song and kind of what inspired you.
Yeah, this song, the original idea for this song came from Jordan Fry, a good friend of mine and my husband's, and it was actually Skylar wrote on this with us as well, and we're kind of going off of the idea of the story of Moses standing at the edge of the water, and he's led out everyone behind him, and he's got Pharaoh on his tail, and just kind of having to really boldly believe the promises of God, and also when he tells you do this or whatever it is, and you're stepping out going, I don't know what's going to happen right now, and right now I'm standing at the edge of the sea, and I'm not really sure what God's going to do, but knowing and trusting that he is going to do something, and we wanted this song just to be all about stirring up that faith of like, yeah, there are definitely times when you're kind of going, you're coming through for me, right? Like you're still there, right? But also standing in the promise of, I know that you said go. I know that you promised to never leave me or forsake me. I know that you promised to be right there with me in the midst of all of that. And when we're getting to the bridge of the song, we're tossing out all these different ideas and kind of what exactly do we want the bridge to say. And we said, oh, you remember that old hymn? That's kind of the message we want to say. And I think it was Skylar said, well, what if we just sang the hymn? And we went, yeah, let's give that a try. And that's kind of how that came in there, because it just felt like, that actually is, timeless message that we wanted to convey in the song.
Yeah, and there's a real weightiness to the lyric of this song.
Yeah.
There's so much scripture you can tell that's like influenced the lyric, and you hear parts of the lyric, you're like, oh yeah, I know that scripture, and I know that, and so it really feels like a great song for the church just to come together and sing.
Yeah.
Jeffrey, walk us through kind of chord-wise what you're playing for this.
Yeah, the song's in E. I play with capo 2 in E, so I'm actually playing in the key of D, but capo 2. So E, the chords for the verse are C sharp minor, A, E, and it repeats 3 times, and then it has a passing 5-4, B to A, and then the pre is 4-1-5-4-6-5, or A, E, B, A, C sharp minor, B. I'll play through that. So that's 6-4-1. And then the transition 5-4, B to A. And then the pre-chorus, A, E, B, A, C sharp minor, B. And then the chorus is simple, it's just 1, 5, 6, 4. And then the bridge is a walk up. It's a rise, 1, 2, 6, 4, or a E, F sharp minor, C sharp minor, A. And I repeats that a couple times.
Yeah. And Kim, you better start that bridge in a good key so that when it gets
Right.
to the end.
I mean, just when you think it can't go any higher, it does. Prepare yourself.
All right. Guys, thanks so much for sharing the song with us.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kim.
Thank you.
Don't close your eyes because the night is dark. Don't fear the future should it black the sun. There's a hope burning brighter in a fearless love. There's a brighter day. There's a higher name. Don't hide in silence while the truth screams out. Don't fear the future shaking up this ground. There's a freedom that marches in a different sound. So if you have the choice, if you have the voice, then lift your voice and sing. Be set free, lift up your voice and sing. If you have the love, now's the time to use it. Salvation runs for everyone, so open up the doors and let us sing. Look back no further than the Savior's cross. Look to the future like the grave is lost. There's a promise returning of the stolen years. There's nothing left to fear. Now the King is here. So lift your voice and sing. If you be set free, lift up your voice and sing. If you have the love, now's the time to use it. Salvation runs for everyone, so open up the doors and let us sing. I hear the sound marching like thunder. I see the Spirit bursting out in a mighty flood over everyone. I hear the sound of sons and daughters. I see the old dream wild and young imagining, young and old dream. I hear the sound of earth surrender, wonders above and signs below the road to see. We have been set free, so open up the door be set free. Lift up your voice and sing. If you have the love, now's the time to use it. Salvation runs for everyone, so open up the doors and let us sing. Open up the doors and let us sing. We've been redeemed, we've been set free. The time has come, the fight is won. The future marches in and calls us free. Open up the doors and let us sing. We've been redeemed, we've been set free. The time has come, the fight is won. The future marches in and calls us free. The time has come, the fight is won. The future marches in and calls us free.
Joel and Maddie, good to see you guys.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks for sharing this song with us. It's a song called Future Marches In. And man, I love this song, I think, and maybe we'll start with you Joel, to talk about it. But it's really like it's kind of a call to action for the church of like, you know, in kind of the things that are happening in the world. It's like we're the hope, we're the light, we're the ones that step in and be hope to people. But talk about this song and just the thoughts behind it and the writing behind it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like musically, I think we wanted to make sure that we had some good upbeat stuff, you know, for church. And it was really fun because I think a lot of them, we probably had more really good upbeat songs than we needed to for the record. And this one kind of stood out for a bunch of reasons. And I think there was a moment, Maddie would play this acoustic thing all the time. It was really, really simple. And I just kept remembering it and being like, oh, we've got to do something with that. But the song itself kind of just fell out of nowhere. And it was kind of ideas we'd had floating around for a little while and wanted it to kind of feel kind of old school. And musically we would talk often about like just the music that we fell in love with when we were kids and the music we fell in love with when it came to worship and praise. And so I think this song kind of fell into that kind of a groove. Really naturally, the band just kind of jumped onto it and all the pieces kind of fell into place. But what was wild about it was we actually kind of ditched this song all the way until like the last night. And we finished all the other songs. And then I said to Mikey and Maddie, I said, why don't we finish this one? I woke up that day and had no lyrics to write. And so we just kind of knocked it out. And what was really cool was it just kind of, it captures one of the major themes for the record. And I've just been thinking, like you said, about how, you know, at this time in history, there's like there's a call to the church that is to kind of not bend and bow to all the noise that's out there and the fear that's in the world, but to kind of stand up and be counted in the courage of who Jesus is, what we know He's accomplished on the cross, but also the Holy Spirit that is, you know, with us and empowering us and calling us and moving us. And, you know, so there's this moment, you know, when the apostles, you know, kind of get filled with the Holy Spirit, and in Acts 2, you know, and Peter comes out and he's kind of like he starts speaking from what the prophet Joel spoke about, and it's just really kind of like, you know, in the last days I'll pour out my Spirit on all people, and you know, it goes on, sons and daughters, young and old, will dream new dreams, and you know, there'll be signs above and wonders below, and this whole kind of thing, and so. The whole story of the song really is this picture of, if you go to Joel 2, it's this picture of this army just like crashing through the darkness. And I think that's kind of, to me, that fires me up. And so it's this sense of, hey, like, if we believe what we believe, if we're serious about this faith, like, we need to have a song and a sound and just a way of living this thing out that just represents the God that we serve. And it's not to be fearful, and there's nothing to be afraid of. and it's not about kind of chasing after, like, you know, our agenda, so to speak. It's more about just living in, like you said, the hope and the faith and just the knowledge of God's love that has won everything for us. And so it's a fun song. And I mean, we haven't sung it in church yet, but I know all of our guys are super fired up about leading it, because I think church is going to go crazy to it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Maddie, walk us through chord-wise what you're playing.
Yeah.
What key do you guys do this in?
So on the album it's in D. We just did it in C because I think it's maybe going to be not as high. It's still got some high notes there in C, so it's probably a little bit more accessible for people to kind of do. Not saying by all means that we're amazing singers, but it is high. Just never went through that time of life where your voice is meant to drop. So yeah. But so it's in C. Starts on the 6, 5, 1, 4. So that's the verse.
There's a half bar in there as well, which is, it's not confusing.
Oh, sorry.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
This is the pre. If you have the noise, 5, 4. If you 1. Have the voice, 4. This is how we're playing. I think it's 5. Salvation runs for everyone, so open up the doors and let us sing. So, and then it goes to the bridge, which lands on the 4. It's just 4 and 5 pretty much. I hear the sound of I know the lyrics, but lift up your voice and sing. It goes back to the chorus. If you have the voice.
There's a double chorus. Well, on the record we do it kind of, it's an interesting way, because the first chorus was kind of not meant to be a chorus. It was meant to just be like a musical moment, but then we sung words over it. And so I think for worship leaders, I think what we're going to do is we are going to kind of do a version that's very similar to what we did just now, that kind of just treats like an A chorus and a B chorus, one that ramps, and then one that kind of just takes off and is a bit more fun. And so I think that'll make sense for worship teams. But it's one of those things where it's like, you want to make sure everyone's on the same page. This is how we do the song, and kind of run with it. But I also think that there's freedom to kind of make it work however it works for people.
I think even just acoustically, like we didn't do it like that, but we were talking about it before, like even just on acoustics, there's an energy to it that's going to work. Even just singing it and playing acoustic at the same time, and if that's all you got, it's going to work. So
yeah, it's got a John Mellencamp little groove to it. Guys, thanks so much for coming by and sharing the song with us.
Thank you.
Was nothing on the providence side. No longer bound to things of wood and stone. When all I had to offer was my worst, you saw my heavy heart and loved me first. Beauty staring down my brokenness, you chose to throw your heart into the mess. Compassion crashing down upon my death. heart cries hallelujah. If ever now in the wonder of your grace, 1,000 times, 1,000 years my soul will say grace. You saw the crushing weight my flesh deserved. You kneeled and wrote forgiveness in the dirt. And one by one the stones fell where they lay, as one by one my accusers walked away. With nothing left to throw, they made a cross. And knowing only love could count the cost, you were there. Oh, this time, like a river running through my veins, you carried me all this time, like the Spencer Spirit on your shoulder. Your love carried all my shame. Jesus, tell my soul will praise you. You carried me all this way, like a diamond in the scars upon your crown. You carried me, hallelujah. If ever now my heart cries hallelujah, if ever now in the wonder of your grace, 1,000 times, 1,000 years my soul will say hallelujah. Ever now in the greatness of my Savior, ever now in the brightness of your Jesus, on this rock I sing your praise. Hallelujah. If ever now my heart cries hallelujah, ever now in the wonder of your grace, 1,000 times, 1,000 years my soul will say hallelujah. Forever now in the greatness of my Savior, forever now in the brightness of your name. Jesus, on this rock I'll sing your praise.
Joel and Maddie, good to see you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing these songs with us. And this song, Splinters and Stones, man, what a unique title. We were just talking about this song, and I want you to talk about the inspiration behind it. It's such a powerful story. And when you shared it with me, obviously the title all of a sudden is like, bing, okay, I actually get this now. So talk about the inspiration behind this song and the ideas.
Yeah, well, I mean, the inspiration kind of came out of John chapter 8. There's a story of Jesus and the woman caught in adultery. And the Pharisees, the religious people, are trying to trap Jesus, and they're like, hey, like, what are we meant to do with this woman? The law says we're going to stone her. And you know, I think we know the story well, but Jesus, he kneels in the dirt and he draws in the dirt with his finger, and then he says, you know, whoever's without sin, throw the first stone. And of course, everybody was stumped, and the Bible says that they all dropped their stones, and one by one, every single accuser walked away. And then, at the end, I'll just read it because I love it. It just says, it says in verse 10, Jesus straightened up and asked her, the woman, where are your accusers? Where are they? Has no one condemned you? She says, no one, sir. Then neither do I condemn you. Jesus declared, go now and leave your life of sin. And I mean, I just love the story. And here's the thing. I mean, I believe that story is, it really happened. There was a woman caught in adultery, but as the church, that's us, you know. He's talking about the church. And doesn't matter how righteous we think we are, doesn't matter how great our deeds are, the bottom line is every single one of us deserve to kind of be crushed underneath the weight of our sin. And the parallel and paradox in the whole thing is that, you know, Jesus was the rock. He was the solid rock, and he threw himself, because he's the only one who was without sin, he threw himself on the cross for us. So when we deserve to be crushed with stones, he knew that only he was the one who had the right to throw himself into the ring, and he did. He threw himself in the form of compassion. And so that was kind of the picture of, like, I just had this picture of Jesus, and I was like freaking out because I'm like, man, like Jesus threw himself in because he's the only one who could. He did that on behalf of us, and he threw himself like a rock against the cross. And that was a lyric in the song at one point, but it didn't fit. But the song is just the story, you know, and there's a lot of metaphor in there along those lines. But just the concept of, like, you know, the cross is a symbol of shame, and the stone represents our punishment, the law, the heavy weight of the law. And Jesus kind of superseded both. And it's this story of, like, what Jesus has done for us is still good now. Like, he's carried us all this time. He's carried us through our shame, and he's going to continue to carry us. And again, you know, the paradox of it is we carry him. So he carries us in his flesh, but we carry him as well in our flesh, his spirit. And so that's kind of like I guess it's a chorus. It's kind of like a pre-chorus, but, you know, all this time, like a river running through my failure. You've carried me all this time, like splinters buried in your shoulders. And I just love that picture of, like, you know, us being the splinters that are still ingrained in his skin, and him still carrying us now. And then it kind of goes on and says, you've carried me all this way, like a diamond in the scars upon your crown. You carry me now. And so it's a song that I think it kind of just builds on itself. And we did it at Easter time in our church. It was the first song we did in church. And people just kind of reading the lyrics because they didn't know the song were just freaking out just at some of the journey. Because when it says, you know, he kneeled and wrote forgiveness in the dirt, and one by one the stones fell where they lay. And then when it was like, and one by one, my accusers walked away, and everyone was just like, it was really faith building. And so my prayer is that, like, it's kind of a song that people see themselves in the story, and I think that's really important for us, even as worship leaders. Sometimes we can just sing songs and sing the words, and we know what works, we know what's going to get people to kind of whatever, but there's something about a story that when people see themselves in it, it can kind of bring people into a different space of worship. So I feel like this is like, it would be a great song to do kind of, you know, third in a worship set, and then you go into a song like, you know, How Great Is Our God, or something that's really triumphant. People are like, I know why now, I remember why, because I was the woman caught in adultery, and Jesus threw himself in rather than...
Wow. Yeah, and we do see ourselves in the story. Then it gets to that chorus, and there's that response, that hallelujah, recognizing, oh man, you know, that was me. You know, like he stepped in for me, and it's like this corporate response to that is really powerful.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, again, the last chorus it's cool because sometimes when you write stuff, you don't, like, I don't feel like I meant this bit, but like forever now, in the greatness of my Savior, forever now in. So it's this concept of being ingrained in who he is, forever now in the brightness of his name, Jesus on this rock, I'll sing you praise. And just, again, it's that picture of Jesus as the rock. The only time, every other time it's stones, and stone was rolled away, but Jesus was the rock. Yeah, so I like little stuff like that. I think it's cool.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, walk us through chord-wise what you're playing.
Yeah. Hold my Bible in.
Thank you, man.
So we do it in D. on the record. Just now we did it in A. The song kind of sits in the same kind of range, so you literally kind of do it in any key you like. I imagine for worship in a corporate service, like doing it in A would be nice, or B. We did it in B. Excuse me, in B, because it means everybody can sing that melody. The boy is really strong, so if you want it to kind of be more anthemic at the end, I think that'd be a nice key. But so I'll do it in B right now because that's what we just did it in. Excuse me. Like I said, it's one of those songs we've done in every key imaginable. So it's real simple. It's just like B. So 1, 6. 4. 1. Then kind of passes on a 5. So it does that. That's the verse, and then the pre-chorus is oh, this time 6, 4, 1, 5. So that's does that, and then the second verse is an interesting little bit because, like I said, that